Okay, well, you're probably wondering why I'm doing this from the Bridge of the Lisette. That is so that I can actually show you the proper stats for bridge officers because it actually loads them when you start a story mission or a ground whatever. And yes, this is one of the things where I have my bridge officers using the IDIC Tribble set. Yeah, gave the full IDIC synergy thing too. Good stuff. Anyways, yeah, they just use them because they're bored apparently. So this build is a weird one because I set it up specifically to use the Borg combat structure kit faster. And also, okay, I decided to go with an evil witch sort of theme for the main character and the bridge officers, to some extent, anyways. And decided to use the Borg combat structure frame because it's something that benefits from the crystal prisms. Because every time you place a crystal prism, this ticks up, and every seventh time you use a kit module, this places a turret. Well, you place 3 prisms, you activate various short cooldown abilities. Like this. This is the longest cooldown ability I have. And that's not a long cooldown. Okay, this is technically whatever. They're not long cooldowns. This is an interesting one because of the fact that it technically has a double activation on it. So, like, you activate it once to create the nanite shield. You activate it a second time to send the shield out as a swarm. And okay, I have a kit module that does electrical damage, and the primary attack on the Guardian staff is an electrical attack, so this gives me a nice bonus. I'm not actually using a sound effect weapon, so you don't get the set bonus, but I don't really need a set bonus in this. Origin battle armor. I got this for cheap in a low buy sale years ago. They used to do those rather regularly, and on this particular occasion, they made the Heroian battle armor 75% off. It was supposed to be 25% off, but it was 75% off. So instead of 200 low buy, it was only 50. Yeah, that was nice. I only actually grabbed it on 2 characters, but it's an interesting costume thing because these metal gauntlets are pretty cool. There's a lot of other parts you can use on that. It's like a full body suit of armor. Honestly, a really cool one too. Anyway, though, yeah, this is a backup weapon because magic. Oh yeah, like I said, evil witch theme. Honestly, I really love the way that one looks. All right, onto the bridge officers. Oh yeah, I suppose I'll look at skills and traits. Yeah, I actually haven't spent more than 3 spec points on this character ever. I really should do that sometime because I have 45 of them unspent on this character. I'm not. Traits. Let's see. Bond with life because someone familiar. Creative, field technician, lucky. Those are obvious. Nanomolecular architect. Yeah. This benefits the crystal prisms and any summon. Actually, this does not benefit things that are considered to be living things. It does, however, benefit the support drone, crystal prisms, and the Borg turrets that I get from the kit frame proc. Does not benefit these. Oh well. Anyways, shield harmonic resonance. I do have shield heal powers, so um, seemed like a good idea. The Trill Guardian staff counts as a rifle, so why not? Super saturated stones. It's a psionic attack that looks kind of like magic. Why not? and Technophile, because this build spams kits like crazy, so Technophile just makes sense. Alright, bridge officers. Clyde and Gwen are both randomly recruited bridge officers that I picked up on one of my other characters prior to making this character, and then just mailed to myself so that I would have some bridge officers with some cool skills at start. And, yes, Ratio Polarity 3. Yeah, that's what she came with, apparently. Anyways, so her ground skills, I just like turrets and mortars. They're really, really good. And one of the best things you can have bridge officers putting down. Freeze armor and Chronoton Mind Barrier kind of sort of fit with the magic theme, so. And again, these are pretty typical traits for a randomly recruited human. Alright. Oh yeah, also. This actually used to be one of the best sets in the game, and I think I actually had Drexela using it before I got the Herodian armor. It's honestly not a bad shield. Right? Reduces energy damage to shields by 10%. And the Shroud thing, yeah, enemies will stop attacking you when that triggers. And I gave her the Tommy gun because why not? I don't even think I ever used the Tommy gun on Drexela. Unless I'm fighting Borg. And even then. So yeah, her skills, that. Leadership, spirit covert. Yeah, I went over this already. Anyway. When? Neutronium lace combat armor. A personal mobility shield. These are actually something that used to be one of the best shields in the game. That was before they added the reputation system. But, back when the only competition was the tiny handful of set shields, back when there was only like 2 or 3 of them in the game, this was one of the best in the game. Because it has the root and knockback resistance effect, but actually has 3 stats like a normal shield would, and an additional root knockback resistance. Again, it's not amazing. Oh well. And I gave her this. This is something that my captain used to be using back before I got the Trill Guardian stuff. Skills. Again, it's kind of sort of like magic themes, like snare targets in an AoE, curse targets. I actually used to, I tried having her use Cryonic Pulse, but decided that it just wasn't something bridge officers could handle very well, because this has a very short range on it. This tooltip doesn't tell you how short the range is, but it's not good. Almost need to be in melee range for it to actually work properly. And otherwise it would be good, but it's not. It's too short. This, however, this works quite nicely. D damage isn't amazing. It looks really cool, though. Also, I think this is technically a splash damage. I don't think it's actually a single target, although it's worded like a single target. I don't know. Some of these wrist rocket abilities are at splash damage, some aren't. Not 100% sure on this one. And Anti-Health Monitor, because it's one of the best heals in the game. And something bridge officers are actually able to use reasonably well. Hypospray Malorosine. This is what she came with. It's not bad. It's actually a decent energy damage resistance thing. I would personally use it if you have a duty officer that has the ability to make it an AoE. It's much better if you have the duty officer to make it an AoE, which admittedly only has a percentage chance of working, so... Oh yeah, also, what's the cooldown on it? 7-second recharge on Malorosine is actually something really good. So having a bridge officer spamming that every few seconds is certainly not a bad option. And again, random human traits, because random human And here we have the pre-ordered Borg Bridge Officer. Notice how her regeneration rate is 200, and the others are considerably lower when they don't have this, because quite frankly, the reason to use the Jem'Hadar body armor is that it gives you a ridiculous regeneration. Borg have a naturally greater regeneration rate because Borg. Yeah, when you read the tooltip for how much it tells you that you have, it doesn't sound like a lot. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot because the tooltip doesn't explain a whole heck of a lot about how much it works. I gave her the full Dyson armor more because I didn't have anything better to do and I just felt like trying it out. Hunker Down is a clicky power, so it's not actually like the same as a bridge officer using crouch mode because bridge officers don't crouch unless you do. Nope, bridge officers. Yeah, see what I mean? Unless you do that, the bridge officers won't. So the stuff related to crouching, yeah. And yeah. Anyway, though. So her skills. I actually tried giving her freeze armor, but decided that I'd rather give her something, better for the commander rank ability. As a lieutenant rank ability, it's less annoying. Also, if I remember right, there's the duty officer for fuse armor, if I remember correctly, does not actually work with freeze armor, which is kind of a bummer. And, the usual stuff. And like I said, same Borg traits as all of the other pre-order Borg. And last we have my old tutorial bridge officer. Back before they added Elisa Flores to the game, you got her. And this is the Davidian shield. Why? Because I had one laying around. Unlike the personal mobility shield, this one actually does sacrifice one of the mods for the psionic damage resistance rating thing. That's what gets put in there as proc. Yeah. So it's actually, unless you're up against enemies that actually use psionic damage, like Davidians or the Undine, it's actually not that good. It really isn't amazingly good. But whatever, it works. And I give it a shot. Skills. Hers is an interesting setup because I have a grenade skill, a wrist rocket skill, and 2 command buffs that are team damage boost buffs. Why? Well, because that's the entire reason why I have her on the team, is to do team damage boosts. Honestly, it works pretty well. Because bridge officers will spam these whenever they're not on cooldown. So you enter combat, they'll activate these just because they're in combat. Microcryonic warhead, photon grenade. They're AoEs. Bridge officers may or may not actually choose targets well enough to hit multiple things. However, this is a setup where I have a teammate who is good at immobilizing groups of enemies. So there is actually the possibility that she might hit multiples. And yeah, that's that. Actually, I may or may not have done a quick look at the duty officers. Melikatan, he's pretty generic and boring. Indeed. This is a fun one because of the fact that I can trigger it with bioharmonic emitter. And that means that every time I use this, which has a cooldown that's only a few seconds, it has a chance to reduce the cooldown of kit powers on me, my bridge officers, and if I'm in a TFO, other players. Pretty cool. These enhance the generic support drone captain power. Now, While the Fabrication Engineer is the only one that actually says it enhances the support drone, the Diagnostic Engineers work anytime your bridge officers, or something one of you summons uses the Equipment Diagnostics ability. It has to be actual Equipment Diagnostics ability, mind you, not a similar ability. But the support drone apparently uses the actual Equipment Diagnostics ability as part of its support thing. And Quartermaster's like, if I use a cover shield, this will give anyone standing near the defense bonus. Yeah, I went with that because there's not a whole lot of other options. The only other good option would be to like throw in a nurse for when you use crystal healing thingy or hypos, which now that I think about it, the crystal healing thing would actually make a lot of sense for this build, and I have an empty device slot that's not really doing anything that I could put the crystal healing thingy into. Yeah, that's something to do later. But yeah, that would be my witch build. I'm not going to say that it's one of my, best offensively. It is, however, a build that has a pretty solid defense and, good enough offense to get the job done. Alrighty then. See you guys later.